Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to explain you this application. As you can see within my background, there is a admin portal application. Actually, using this admin portal application, you can manage users. We are expecting to create this application, a CRUD operation, without MVC, without OOP, just procedural development using PHP, pure PHP. You can learn how this is the way we develop without MVC and OOP. We'll develop this edit, delete, add CRUD operation, user management, and within the this video we talk about these things, and within the next video we going to develop user web portal as well. Let's go to the example. Let's do the admin portal. Okay, first let's create the folder structure. Here I will create connection folder first, and also configuration information. To save the configuration information, let's create the config.php, and also let's add the template folder. We need to have a template folder. Okay, template, and let's create our home page. That means index.php. Index.php. Okay, now first I will add the templates files. Let's create header.php, and also we need a navigation.php, and also we need a footer.php as well. These are template folders files. Okay, now we have our folder structure. Okay, let's add the header information. I'm expecting to use Bootstrap. Let's collect the Bootstrap CDN information. Let's go to the browser and type Bootstrap CDN. Okay, let's open the Bootstrap page and copy the CSS part. Let's put it in here, and let's copy the JS as well. We need the JS links as well. Okay, let's paste within here. Okay, now our header.php is ready, and also now we need a footer as navigation as well. Let's create the navigation. With this navigation, I will add some sample tab, sample navigation, Bootstrap navigation. Let's say okay, here I will use this navigation as a sample one. Okay, let's add these things to index. First I will add the index to HTMLs, and let's add our header template header.php. Let's include once template / header.php. Okay, now we need a footer as well. Let's add the footer. Let's copy this thing again here, and let's change this to footer. And also we need a navigation as well. Let's add navigation to this. Let's copy paste, and let's change this to navigation. Okay, now we have included our template. Let's check with this browser. Let's run our server. Let's say php -s localhost, port is 8000. Okay, let's go to the browser and check these things. Localhost 8000. Okay, here it will returning warnings. Okay, I have to correct this template links. Okay, template. Okay, here we need to update these things. Okay, now it's need to be a work. Okay, now it's worked fine. Now we have loaded our template information. Those things are working. We'll create the connection, our database connection, db.php. Let's add the try catch to handle the error. Okay, let's create a new PDO mysql. Okay, here I'm going to create my connection string using PDO connection. Here I will give the configuration information, server name, and DB name. Likewise, those things we are getting from our configuration. I have to create our configuration code. After creating this, I will create the configuration file. Okay, here let's add the DB name. and also config db user and pass. Okay, now our connection string is created. Okay, it's saying error. Let's check. Okay, here we missed the equal. Okay, and also here we need to close this our brackets. Okay, now we have created our connection string. Let's add the catch PDO exception $ex. Okay, now let's add the attributes. We can change the connection string attributes. Let's set the attribute exception attributes PDO at error mode. Let's say PDO error mode exception. Okay, let's change the return type. Here we can set the attribute return type. That means we need to return the data as an associative array. Let's add that as well. PDO default fetch mode. Let's say it as a PDO fetch assoc. Okay. Yeah. Now return the connection. Okay, let's add the our error handling part. Let's say echo connection fail with our custom error message and system error message as well. Let's add the system error message. $ex get message is the system error message. If it is the error, then we don't need to continue this. Let's exit this. Okay, now we have our connection string. Let's go to folder structure. And let's add the configuration information. Let's say PHP return config db server name equal to localhost and db name equal to I have to create this database. I will create database called member manager application. I have to create this database. Okay, let's add the user as a root. Password is actually my password is empty. Okay, let's check with this our connection string. Okay, user is a little bit different. DB user. Okay, others are okay. Okay, now we have created our configurations and also connection string. Okay, let's create another file to load this information to our user view layer. I will create file called loader.php. Within this loader.php, I will include the connection string and configuration. Let's add the include once. Let's add the configuration first. Config.php, and let's add the our connection. Let's say connection db.php. Okay, now we have created our loader.php file. Let's include that loader.php to this index.php. Okay, now we have after including this, we have our connection string within this file. That means we can have access to this information. Okay, now let's create the navigation. Let's update the navigation. Here home we need to direct it to index.php, point to index.php, and let's add the let's add more tabs. And first with this tab I will rename it as add user. Here let's add the add user _.php. I need to create this file. Let's create this as well. Okay, let's create file add user _.php. Okay, sorry, add user php. Okay, now let's add the basic templates, basic HTMLs. Okay, now our navigation is okay. Let's check with this browser. Let's go to the browser. Okay, it's returning error, I guess. User define key user. Okay, let's go to. Okay, I forget to save this. Okay, let's save this and let's check this again. Array key user. Okay, I forget to create a database. Let's create the database first. Okay, my database is manager application. Okay, let's copy that. Okay, let's go to the localhost dashboard, php myadmin. Okay, let's create the database. Go to databases. Okay, let's new. Okay, let's create the database. Okay, here we can add the database. Okay, let's create. Now we have created our database. Okay, let's say, okay, now it's not written anything, any error. It's working. That means our basic hierarchy is working perfectly. Now it will connect to the database, and also our navigation also working. Okay, here I'm going to copy this index.php, adduser.php code to here I have copied index.php to adduser.php because same code we can modify. Let's add the add the container div, and inside of this container let's create the adduser form. Let's put connection as, because we keep it as a blank because we're going to send information to same page. And let's add the div tag called form group. And inside of this, let's create the labels and inputs. Actually, I'm going to create three major fields, that mean columns within the table. Let's add the first name and last name and username and password. 4 columns actually. Here, let's give the first name. Let's add the input. Okay, let's add the input. Type is text, and class. Let's add the class form control. ID is same, txt first name, and let's add the name as well. Txt first name. Okay. We can actually we can copy the same block again and again because there's 4 columns. Let's add those columns as well. Okay, right now we have 4 columns. Okay, let's add the last name. Let's rename this as a last name, and also here we need to change as last name. There's 3 places we can change this. Okay, last name, and let's change the username. Let's this as a username. Use this as a username. Let's add the username. Okay, here also. It is also username. Okay, change this. Okay, now we need to have password as well. Let's change this as a password. And here also need to be a change as a password. This is password, I guess. Type type is password. Okay, we have created our registration form. Let's check this with the browser. And first, okay, let's go to the browser. Let's check this. Okay, you can see now our HTML things are viewed correctly, but within this admin panel we are going to add users. This is a admin portal. Then user can add any number of users. Here let's add the our input button. We missed the our submit button. Let's add the submit button. Within this admin portal, within this, using this add user form, admin user can add users. Okay, let's go to the let's add the class btn success. Okay, now let's go to the browser and let's refresh this. Okay, now we have completed our front end part. Okay, let's go to code again. Once user click on this, it will go to the same page. Okay, let's go to the code. Okay, let's add the validations, form validations. Let's add the required. This first name is required, and username also required, and password also required. Let's add those validations. Okay, now we have completed our add user form. Let's refresh this. Okay, let's submit. Okay, now you can see that validation is also working. Let's add the PHP code, that means server-side code. Once user submit the form, let's check with the submit button, $post. Yeah, let's get the button name. Okay, we forgot to add the submit button name. Let's add the submit button name. Let's say submit btn. Okay, submit btn is the button name. Okay, once user click the submit button. If it is set, then that means user click the submit button. Then let's continue with the this block. Here let's capture the form data. That means let's get the first name, $post txt underscore first name. Okay. Let's capture other fields as well. Okay, first name, last name. Let's copy this, rename this as last name. Password. No, first username. Okay, let's get the username, and here also need to be changed as a username, and the password. Okay, here password is okay. Password txt password. Okay, copy that as well. Okay, now we have captured all the form information. Let's do the query. Let's do the insert query. I'm using a PDO connection here. With the PDO connection, here I will use a parameter binding method. That means we can prevent the SQL injections because we are collecting information from the front end. That means definitely we need to prevent the SQL injections. To do that, I will use parameter binding. Okay, let's say insert into table user first name, last name, and let's say username, and also password. Okay, these are the fields within our table. We need to create this TBL user table. Let's assign the values to this table. Okay, with the parameter binding values. Let's say first name is of f name, and l name, and u name, and pass. Okay, those are the parameters. Let's bind those things. Okay, let's rename this as stmt. Okay, let's use this stmt. Bind para m. First parameter is f name, and let's say it's as $first name is the parameter. Okay, let's pdo para underscore str. Okay, str. Okay, it's 256. Okay, now we have bind the first parameter. Let's do same thing to others as well. First name, last name, username, those things are we have to bind. Okay, let's do l name, and let's say first last name. Okay, sorry, I missed the. Okay, let's rename this second line. L name, last name. Okay, okay, they are username, and password. Okay, these are the fields we're going to bind, and let's create the table. Let's go to the browser and let's create a table called TBL user. Let's add the ID. ID is auto increment and it is primary key. And let's lay first name. Let's go to the first name, find the first name. Okay, here this is the first name. Okay, let's set the first name. It is Vacha 256, and last name Vacha 256, and user name it is also Vacha and 256. Okay, let's add another column because we need to add our password as well. Let's add another column. Let's go to the okay, let's add another column. It is as a password. It is also Vacha 256 because we are going to insert encrypted password. Let's save this. Let's go to our form and okay, let's execute this. Now we have bind the parameters. Let's save this. That means we need to execute. Let's execute. Okay. Yeah. Now we have created our insert query. Okay, let's we need to show message to user. Let's say the try catch first. We need to handle the error. Okay, let's return the message error. You can add any custom message to here. I'm using the default message, get message. Okay, right. Yeah. Now let's we need to add. Okay, let's copy this thing to try inside of the try catch. Okay, now we need to give message. That means if it is success, then we need to inform to user that these things are successfully saved. Let's create that message as well. Let's add the success message. Let's say I think it's better to have a success. Okay, let's create success, successfully saved. Okay, you can use any message. Okay, here I'm using this message. Okay, and also I need to define this message variable as a blank. Okay, now we can print this message within the user interface. Here let's add the alert dev within the container. Let's create the alert and let's say alert success. These are bootstrap classes, and let's inside of this let's echo the our message. Okay, we only need to show this when the message is set. If message is empty, then we don't need to show this alert message. Let's add that code as well. Let's if it's not empty, then message show, otherwise it will not show within the user view. Okay, now we have completed our user interface. Let's go to browser and check with this. Okay, let's add the test user and last name. Okay, user admin and password 123456. Let's submit. Okay, it will returning error, undefined PDO bind param. I think there is some typo or something. Let's go to okay, here param. Okay, we don't need this connection. Let's remove this returning part. We don't need to return. Okay, here we missed the A. Let's add the A. Okay, let's go to the browser and let's refresh this again. Okay, now it will save within the table. Let's go to the table and let's browse the table. Okay, here you can see the information, but it will save this as a password save as a okay, let's encrypt this using MD5. Now it is encrypted. Let's refresh this, then save request. Let's browse. As you can see, it will encrypted the password. Okay, let's remove this. Now we have created our insert query part, insert add user part. Okay, let's do okay, add user part is completed. Now we can copy this to our index. Okay, index already have those information. Okay, now within here we going to list down all the users available within our user table. Okay, here let's create the table query. Select all. I think our table is TBL user. TBL user. Okay, SQL. Select all users from TBL user, and let's get the return $con. Let's get the query $query fetch all. Okay, now we have our table data. Let's print this data. Let's check whether it's worked correctly or not. Let's go to the browser and let's run this code. Okay, it will returning users information. Let's go to PHP MyAdmin. Okay, here you can see it will return the information within the database. Okay, let's list down those information within the user view layer. Let's add the table in between. Let's add the table in between the navigation and footer. And I'm going to use this table, and let's add I'm going to show this return. I'm going to show this table if the return is not empty. If it is empty, that means if the table does not containing any data, then that means we don't need to show this table. Let's give message. That means something called let's say user table is empty or something, we don't need to show this table because without any data. Okay, now it will show when it table have data. Okay, I will change this class to stripped. Okay, and okay, let's create the table headers. We need to have a table first name, last name, and username. Those headers we need. Let's add those things. Let's add the first name and last name and also username. Okay, and also we need another two headers because edit and delete. Okay, now we have almost 4. Okay, 1 2 3 4. Okay, 5. Okay, let's create those TDs. Now let's add the for each. Let's do the for each, and with the return as user, $user. Okay, now okay, let's close this here. Let's PHP. Okay, now we have our for each. Let's add the within the for each. Let's call the our user information. User here we are going to show first name. Likewise, we need to show other information. Let's. I think it's better to copy and paste. Okay, first name, last name, and username. Okay, now these I will create a anchor tag for this edit and delete. For now, I will create some dummy anchor tag. Let's modify this later. Let's have the btn primary. I think success. This is a edit button. Let's use the primary. Okay, edit, and also we need to have delete as well. Delete button, and let's say it as a delete. Okay, now we have created our user list form. Let's go to. Okay, here you can see. Okay, we need to add a container to here because it will. Okay, let's go to the code again, and let's add the container to here. Okay, here let's add the container div. Okay, let's add container div class container. Let's copy this everything, these codes into this inside of this container block with the navigation as well. Let's copy this and paste, and let's format this. Okay, let's format this. Okay, right now we have created our okay, it's not delete, actually it is need to be a danger, I guess. Okay, danger. Okay, let's go to the browser and check this. Okay, as you can see, it's working. Okay, now the problem is we need to come outside of the container. Okay, let's copy this and paste in here. Okay, let's check now. Okay, now it's working perfectly. Okay, now let's implement edit and delete within this form. I think we don't need this footer section within the table. Let's remove this. Okay, first we'll remove this footer section. We don't need this footer section. Let's refresh. Okay, now let's go to let's add another user. Using add user form, let's add the users. Test okay, Jaisingh and admin Sri and 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, let's add user. Okay, let's go to the home page. Okay, now you can see that newly added user also appear within here. Okay, let's add another one. Test one, and let's say test 1 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, let's save. Okay, let's go to home page. Now you can see, if you it will show all the 3 users within the table. Yeah, now we need to create edit and delete. Let's go to create that as well. Okay, first we create the edit user. I'm copying add user course to, let's create the edit user page. I'm copying adduser.php codes into edituser.php. And also we don't need these parts, that means insert query and those things we don't need. Let's remove those things. And let's copy the index page select query to edit user, because we need to load the user information. Okay, let's use same query let's add the edit button. Let's modify the edit button. Let's add edit underscore user dot php with id. Let's pass the id. Okay, let's check this. Okay, let's click the edit. Okay, now you can see that it will pass with the user id. Okay, now within this edit user page we need to have where close. Let's create the where id equal $id. Let's capture the, okay, let's say let's check the if that id is set or not. If it is set, then if not empty, then let's continue. Let's copy this code into that block. Okay, here let's capture the this id. Copy this and let's add the $id equal to id. Okay, now we have captured the id. Okay, we need only one record. Let's say fetch, and okay, rename this as a user because we need user. And okay, now let's within this form we need to load the user information. That means when it's come to edit form, now we are using add user form. Same form. Let's add the value as a user first name using the user $user first name, and let's say last name. Okay, let's copy this, paste in here last name. Okay, let's change this to, okay, let's change this to last name. And here let's copy this again to here as well. Let's change this to username. Okay, here with this username we not allow user to change this username. It is read only field because we are not going to expect because this is an admin portal, username only can change from user side. Here we are not going allowed to change the username, and also we are not going to change the password as well. Okay, here we have created our edit user form. Now we can check this. Okay, as you can see, it will load the data according to the user ID. It will load the information. If you open this Srija Singh user, let's open this. Okay, you can see that it will come the last name and first name, but username is empty. Let's check that there's some problem, I guess. Let's go to the code, and okay, here we missed the value part. Okay, let's check now. Okay, now it's coming. Yeah, now our edit user form interface is created. Let's once user click the submit button. Let's save this information to database. Let's update the database record as well. Let's say is set post. Our submit button name is submit btn. If it is set submit btn, then that means user click on the submit button. Okay, let's capture the form information. We can use same add user form code to capture these things. Okay, let's first name last name we captured, and username we don't need capture, but we need user ID. Actually here we'll add the hidden input. Let's value as ID because we need to capture the ID. to update the database record, we need a record ID. Let's submit it as a hidden field. Okay. Okay, let's say name as a hid ID. Okay, let's capture that as well. Copy this and paste again. Let's use as a ID and let's say it hid ID. Okay, now we have our information. Let's create the update query. Let's add the update query. Let's say query equal update table user set and the first name. Okay, first name equal to first name is dollar first name, last name, so dollar last name. Let's add the last name. Last name. Okay, where ID equal to ID. Okay. Yeah, now we have created our update query. Let's run this. Let's say stmt $con query, and let's run the query $query. Okay. Yeah, now we have created our update query as well. Let's refresh this. Try to update this record adding 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, let's save this. Let's go to the home. As you can see, it will updated with new information. Likewise, now we have created our update edit part as well. Here you can see it will updated. Okay, now let's create. I think we need to create a delete function. Let's create that as well. Let's add the let's say on click. Let's say on click. Let's add the delete user. Let's add the JavaScript function called delete user. We need to pass ID, user ID, to that function. Let's add the user ID and okay, user ID. Okay, here let's create the JavaScript function delete user. Okay, ID. Yeah, now let's add the confirmation message, because once user submit this for us, click the delete button, we need to confirm. User need to confirm here. Let's add the confirmation. If confirm, are you let's add, okay, here yes, ID. Okay, ID and okay, we need username as well, because user name, because we can't show the ID within the message box. We need the user name. Let's pass the username as well. Let's say username. Here let's say are you sure you want to delete user? Let's add the username and also question mark. Okay, okay, let's say if it is true, then user click yes. Then let's say let's do the Ajax. Our URL is index.php. Let's say ID equal to user ID, that means ID, and also okay, here method is post, and connection type, let's say application and JSON. Okay, here let's say success function. Let's say the success function. Let's say function return. Okay, let's now we have created our let's say result. Okay, now we have created our index Ajax. Here we need to add another parameter, delete equal to true. Okay, delete equal to true. Okay, now let's check with that. If dollar post, if let's say if dollar post delete, then let's say if is set, if we set dollar post delete, then we delete the record. Let's first capture the query delete. Let's create the query delete from tbl user where id equal to our id is dollar post, sorry, dollar get id. Okay, and okay, let's edit post method. Okay, dollar get. Okay, yeah, now let's run this query. Okay, let's refresh this and let's say delete. Yeah, I think it has some issue. Let's check with the developer tool. Let's refresh. Okay, let's try to run this again. In the console, it will show that something missing from the okay, here with this function we have yeah, we have to close this. Okay, let's go to again code browser. Let's refresh this, try to delete again, and it's working now. Yeah, but it won't deleting. Let's check the developer tool. Okay, it's returning Ajax is not a function. I think I need to use jQuery CDN because we use it's Bootstrap CDN. I think it's better to have this jQuery, updated jQuery one, because we use 3.2. I guess I will update it as a 3.6. Yeah, we use 3.4. Let's remove this and let's update with the 3.6. Okay, let's check now. Refresh this, try to delete. Okay, it's saying okay, this one. Okay, it's working now. Let's go to server side as well, but within the server side it will say that id is not defined. Okay, here here let's at the end. Okay, now check with that, refresh, let's say delete. Okay, okay, now I think it's deleted. Let's refresh this. Yeah, that record is deleted. Now we need to reload this page after deleting. Let's do that as well. In here, let's add the location, windows dot location reload. Okay, now let's go to browser and refresh. First refresh and let's delete. Okay, now it will refresh the page. It will refresh the page once we delete the file. Okay, and okay, now as you can see, it will any anonymous user can view this information. That means they can navigate to this admin portal. We need to add some login box. Let's add that login box as well. Okay, let's add let's first we need to check the access. Let's add the file call access check, because we need to identify user is logged or not. Let's do that within here. Okay, let's do the OB start and let's start the session. Session underscore start, and now let's check the user is logged or not. If underscore session, let's check the session variable is set or not. if not empty actually. If it is set, we don't need do anything. Let's redirect to the login page. Okay, let's create the login.php as well. Okay, let's try this with the it's not working actually. Let's go to code again, and here we need to add location, header location. Okay, let's try now. Still not redirecting. Okay, let's check. I think we need to include this. Okay, I forget to include this within the loader page. Let's include this. Our access check page, access check.php. Okay, now let's check with this browser. Okay, now it's working. It's redirect to login page. Let's add the login page information. Okay, this is our admin portal, and this is our admin login box actually. Only admin users can log in from here. Let's add the login box. Let's get the basic HTML, and let's add the div class container. Inside of this container, I will create the login box, form, action to same page. Method is post. Let's add the div tag class called form group. Let's add the label and inputs. Input, let's say txt, type is txt, and name is username. Okay, and also we need password. Okay, first add the class form control. Okay, let's add the password. We can copy the same code block again. Let's copy this. User password. Okay, password and password, and also type also password. Okay, let's add the submit button. Now we have our user login form. It is value is login submit. Okay, yeah, this is the our login form. Okay, let's try with this browser fresh. Okay, as you can see here we have our sample login box. Okay, let's add bootstrap to here, because I think it is not value, actually it's name. Let's add the value as login, and let's refresh this. Okay, let's add the class btn success. Okay, and let's try this with browser. Okay, it's still not loading because we need to add, I think, bootstrap plus add bootstrap as well. Let's say header. We can include the header. Let's include the header. Let's copy this header include part to our login box. Here let's add the login. Okay, header. Now let's refresh this. Okay, now it will load with the bootstrap. This is a sample login box. You can modify this, adding more style. You can customize this, but for now I will use this login box. Okay, now once user click on this, it will goes to the login.php. Let's add the login thing. That means with the database we need to compare. Okay, these are let's add the validations. These are required actually. Once you click on this submit button, we need to check this with the database. Let's include the, let's get the PHP code, and let's see, we need to have include we can't copy this loader to here, because within the loader it will check the access. Then within the login box, we don't need this access check one. Let's copy these two things, that means configuration and connection to here without access check. Okay, let's get the query. Select all from tbl user where username equal to, okay, let's capture the username. If is set username equal to $post username, and also we need to capture the password as well. Password, okay, is password. Now we can add update the query using username and password equal to pass. Okay, here we need to encrypt MD5. Okay, let's say $password. Okay, now our query is ready. Okay, let's run this query. $con connection information, let's say query $query fetch. Now we have let's get the return result to return variable. Okay, let's come now if user is entered the correct data, it will return data, otherwise it will not return data. Let's count the result. If his result is greater than 0, that means we have user information. Then we need to set our session variables. Our session variable is okay, here login user. If the user found within the database, we set this user login as logged as 1, and also now that means user logged successfully, and we return redirect user to index page. It's at the header location index.php. Okay, now we have redirect logged user. Else, if that user does not provide the correct credentials, we need to show the message that user not found message. Let's set that as well. User not found. Okay, let's show this message within the here. Let's set the blank message because the message equal to empty. Okay, let's show this within the user interface. Let's set the PHP if not empty message. If message is not empty, then we show the message, otherwise we not show message. Okay, let's close this. Okay, now we have completed. Let's refresh this. Okay, undefined variable username 11. Let's go to code. In the 11 username. Okay. Okay, we need to copy these things inside of this block, otherwise it will return error. Okay, let's save this and let's run this again. Okay, let's try to log in. Keys, password. Let's go to login number 9. Password. Password. Let's go. Okay, there is a typo, I guess. Okay, here syntax error. Let's check this. Okay, password end. let's say caller not found password. I think here also have typo. Let's check this. Okay, here also typo. Okay, uncrypted count. Okay, it will return as a boolean. Let's change this to if dollar result. That means it is true. If true, then we copy these things to here, and let's say let's run this first. Okay, and let's try to log in. Okay, it's still getting a show. Okay, here okay, we don't need this part. Let's remove this first. Okay, let's remove it. Let's run this. Okay, and okay, we have to remove this bracket as well. Okay, let's format this. Okay, save, and let's try to run this again. Okay, user not found. Let's check the database. There's a Sri user. Okay, try to using Sri one. Okay, Sri password is 123456. Let's try with that. Okay, now user is logged, but we need to redirect. Let's set the index. Okay, let's change this to yes. Let's change this to yes, and okay, here we can change this to we can optimize this code as well. Let's optimize this. If not is set, that means user logged session variable is not set, then we redirect to login page. Otherwise we don't need to do anything. And now we can put this session start here, otherwise it will not work. Okay, now let's try to refresh this. Try to log in again. Okay, it logged. Likewise, we can create a login box. This is the admin login box. Previously, without login, user can't access this page. Now, add user and home. Without login, user can't access now. Okay, this is a normal login. Let's go to the login. It will open the login box. Okay, we need to redirect. Once user logged in, we don't need to show the login box again. Then we need to add this code part to login box. Let's add the copy this code part to login box and paste in here. We can say like this: if we set, we can redirect to index. Okay, we don't need to. If we refresh this, it will go to the index page. Now we have created our login box. Let's create the logout function, because we need to logout function as well. Let's create a navigation called logout, and let's add the page called logout. We need to create the page for logout. Logout.php. Okay, let's create this page. Logout.php. Inside of this, let's create the let's destroy the session. That means let's copy these things, and let's say unset dollar session. First we unset the session variable, and let's say session underscore destroy. Okay, and now user can log out. Let's refresh this. Okay, if we click logout link, it will go to logout and user log out. Now we can redirect user to login box. Let's copy this thing to here, logout. Okay, now let's try to refresh the page. Okay, now it goes to logout login box. We can log in and log out now. Here we develop application without object-oriented programming and without MVC. Before we doing the MVC and object-oriented, we develop application like this. We can now log in and log out and user create within. You can do those things within this portal. I am using to create admin portal. That means here only admin user can log in, and here we need to have some table column called type, because we need to identify admin user and normal user. For that we need the table column. Let's add that as well. Let's add the type as 5 characters. Okay, say within this type we can add the user type. That means is this user admin user or not. Then we can say like this. We can say and type equal within the add user page, let's add the select box to admin user can select if it is normal user or admin user. Let's add the select box. Let's copy this, and let's after the password, let's add the select box called let's say select. We don't need type. Let's remove the type, and ID also. Let's say type. Okay, let's add the two options. First option is normal user. Normal user. Option number 2 is admin. Okay, now let's capture the user type. Let's say type, and let's get this txt type. Okay, here we don't need this MD5 thing. Let's remove this, and now let's save this type within the let's add it query. Let's add the query, update the query. Let's bind the parameter. Let's say type. Okay, it is type. Okay, 5. Okay, let's run this. Okay, let's try to create new user. Now we can't log in. We have to change this. We can change this to as to admin. Now we can log in. Okay, now let's add user. Admin user 2. Test admin. User as admin. Okay, let's password is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay. Normal admin user. Okay, now it's returning error. Insert value doesn't match the column. Okay, we have error within the our insert query. Let's check this. Okay, here we missed the type within the. Okay, here we missed the type. Okay, let's add type. Let's try it now. Refresh same request again. Okay, it's saved. Let's go to the home page. Okay, you can see the user within the home page. Okay, we need to update the list also. That means we need to show the user is admin or not. Within this page, we can add new another TD after username. Let's add okay, after the last name, let's add the user type. Okay, let's add the here also need to update to type. Let's check with the browser. Okay, now you can see it will show the admin or not. Let's create the normal user as well. Test normal user. Let's say user 1, and password is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Normal user. We select normal user. Okay, let's go to home. Okay, you can see that normal user also created. Let's try to log in this. Because we can't log in this with our admin portal. Let's try to log in normal user 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, it says no user not found. That means normal user can't log in using this login box. Only admin user can log in using this login box. Okay, okay, now let's okay, now we have edit feature, add feature, and delete feature as well. Now here you can see within this URL we directly goes to the admin section. We need to have like this URL like this. That means admin and index.php. Likewise, we need to change this. Okay, let's change the folder structure according to this. Let's separate the admin portal and web portal. Let's add the file called admin, folder called admin. Let's copy those admin portal files into our admin folder. Let's copy these things. Logout, login, index, edit, add user and access check as well, and also template. Okay, let's copy these things to admin portal. Okay, now it's copied, and we need to correct navigations, because let's try it here. Let's do. Okay, it says include once connection one. Let's add those things. Okay, now it's loading. Let's try to add. Okay, let's now it is this is admin portal. Okay, here we need to update the our navigations. Here there's a lot more things to update actually. Okay, let's go to admin. Okay, index, within the index page, I guess within this access check we need to add admin. Okay, it's reject. Let's. Okay, here within this load connection access check. Here I think. Okay, here let's add the admin. Let's go to again admin section. Okay, now it's loading, but with some issues. Okay, let's say let's go to config. Let's go to the login box and let's update here as well. Okay, now we have updated. Okay, here also need to update. And okay, let's jump into code. Okay, let's refresh this. Okay, now it's working. Try to login. Okay, now it's going to. Okay, let's log out and log in. It's working. Okay, here this is the admin portal. As you can see, we developed admin portal. Here, okay, here this we need to update this navigation as well. Add user navigation. Let's go to template navigations. Here add user. Okay, here we need to update admin. Okay, now we have updated according to new navigations. Okay, let's go to browser and refresh this. Try to log out and logged in. Okay, here add user. Okay, here I need to start from the yeah, I need to change this. Okay, now save and refresh. Okay, now try to log out and logged in and add user, edit user. Okay, now it's working. This is the sample admin portal, and this is the example I'm going to cover within this video. If you think this video is helpful, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see future videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much for watching my videos. Let's meet with the next video. Thank you very much.